It's Tom from Tom Tricks, and today I would like to do a front split stretching routine with you guys. Okay, here I'm again, and you have just seen some clips from my warm-up, so please always warm up your body before you do flexibility training. I start with a stretch for my hip flexors. I start with one side first. I hold myself on my knee and I gently stay there, just wait until the tension releases, and with time I start to kind of move back and forth into the stretch. Here I really don't push it at all, I just be there and move a bit. Then I move back into a hamstring stretch position. And I just obtain the same position and I move my butt back and I stretch my hamstring from there. Here you can't see it very well, but I bend my knee a little bit, so I get a bit more focus on my hamstring. And I try to breathe into the stretch, and also here with time I move back and forth very gently into the stretch. Then I change position again and I open up my legs and I go into a kind of a hip flexor stretch without my knee on the ground. I like this position very much to feel the stretch over the whole chain of my body. Then I go deep, I place my elbow on the ground and I intensify the stretch on my hip flexor. Then I change completely position, I bend my front leg and I sit down. This stretch is for my glutes and also my hip flexor, and I also here I try to be very relaxed, to sit in there, to breathe well. Then I change again position, I go on my knees and I lift my rear leg up to stretch my quad. This again is a hip flexor stretch, but with more focus on my quad. And also here, please breathe very deeply and don't overdo it, just hold the stretch a bit and go back. Then I stand up quickly and I change my side. I start again with the hip flexor stretch, the kneeling hip flexor stretch. I support myself on my knee. I always try to watch at the ceiling because this intensifies the whole stretch from the leg over your upper body. And then I also start moving gently back and forth to slowly lower myself deeper into the stretching position. But also here, no pushing at all. I just lower myself as much as I can. Then I stay in the same position, I shift my weight backwards and I straighten my front leg and I bend my knee a little bit and I pull forward with my upper body. gently. Then I slowly start to move back and forth again, and here try to really feel the stretch in your hamstring. Come up from this position and really extend your rear leg backwards and feel that stretch in the hip flexor in the middle of your body. Here also the feeling for the toes is very nice to give them a good stretch as well. At last, from here I lower myself again and I place my elbow on the ground. From there I change into the glute stretch. Really try to extend that rear leg backwards, straight backwards, and bend your front leg. Then extend your upper body, try to watch at the ceiling and feel a comfortable stretch in your gluteal area. Try to breathe yourself into the stretch when you move into it. From there you change again and you come up to the last stretch of this set. Again, this stretch is more for the quad. It also has hip flexor in it, but it's very intense on the quad. So go gently on it, breathe deeply in it and enjoy it. And release the tension. Now take a short break like I do. Sometimes I just stand there and go into the next set. Spread your legs and this is my right side in front. I stretch my right leg in front, my left in the back. And as you can see, I keep my right knee bent. So this is like a pre-position for the front split to get myself used to this position, and it targets the hamstring a bit more than when you just do the front split position with straight leg. I change to the other side and I obtain the same position. I bend my left knee a little bit to get a bit more focus on my left hamstring. I find this pre-exercise very useful, very nice to just get into the mood of doing a front split. To tell your body, hey, from now on we're gonna practice front split. So it really loosens things up a lot. Oh, and here just to say, it doesn't matter how far you come down, just go on your pace and how low you can go down. So it doesn't matter. Now I'll go into a hamstring stretch. Make sure that you have your chest to your quads, close to your quads, touching each other. And from a sitting position, you stretch yourself as far as you can. And you go back. Very gently. This is also a stretch in motion, so you move all the time, which I find very, very helpful in training. Just to keep moving. Take a break. For example, go into a squat and change into another exercise. So I start again with the front split exercise. Now I spread my legs. I have left forward, right in the back. And as you can see, I stay on my toes, on my rear leg. I support myself with my hands and I gently move myself up and down into the stretch. Then I straighten my toes and I gently move myself up and down. I always breathe out when I go down and breathe in when I go up. Very gently, I'm not pushing myself. So just as far as your body allows you to go. Then slowly come out of the stretch. Also here, before I stand up, I like to put a little stretch on my ankles as well, just playing around a bit. I change side and I do the same on the other side. I stay on my toes with the back leg. I extend my legs as far as I can. I support myself and move myself up and down slowly. Let your body sink straight down. This will apply the stretch equally on your hamstring and your hip flexor. Don't push, breathe well, and just stay in that comfortable area. Try to look at the ceiling if you want to intensify the stretch a bit more. And slowly come out of the stretch. Apply again some ankle stretches and just take your time, because you don't need to rush between stretching sets. Then I go into a seated sesa position. I place my feet outside and I move my upper body back and forth. This is a loaded stretching exercise. It's not a relaxed stretching exercise, and I don't overdo it here. I just gently move myself back and forth until I can place myself on the ground. This stretch also is very good for your quads and your hip flexor and your whole forward chain. I change position and I stretch my upper body. This stretches you see here is actually just to have some stretches in the break between the front split stretches. So instead of sitting around, I like to apply some stretches where I think I need it in the moment. This can vary, of course, from training to training. Another set comes and I go for the hamstring stretch again. Position your chest closely to your quads and move yourself up and down, gently, feeling the stretch in the hamstrings, and try to stay as tight as possible, together with your upper body and your quads. Don't overdo it, breathe deeply in it. Take a rest in a squat, for example. Shake it a bit out and go into the next set of front splits. This time I start with my right leg in front, left in the back. I stay on the toes and I let myself sink into the stretch. I straighten my toes on the rear leg and I gently move myself up and down. I look at the ceiling to really extend my body as much as I can. Not only the legs, also my upper body. When you feel that you are on a good point, shift your weight to the front, out of the line of a front split, to break things up a bit. Support yourself with your elbows and breathe deeply and feel the stretch in your hamstrings and hip flexors. Go back into the original front split position and then come out of the stretch slowly. Take a little break and continue with the other side. Stay on your toes in the beginning, and when you feel the tension is releasing slowly, place your knee on the ground, straighten your toes, and breathe deeply into the stretch. Move slowly up and down. Let your weight sink in and lower your body naturally. And try to enjoy it, even though my face doesn't look like that always. Again, shift the weight out of the line, support yourself on your elbows, and also enjoy this stretching position. Go back into the original position from here. Feel the position very well and then release the tension and come out of the stretch. In the end, I just like to do some other short stretching exercises just to calm down, to make a good end of the whole workout.